Hey everybody, and welcome to Fridays at 5. I'm Karen Taylor here with Jennifer Campion, Shirley Thompson, and all of the other first and last names in the room. Uh, we're so psyched to have you here. Today and this month, we're going to be checking our Color Vowel pantries. Did anybody get to see the nice graphic that Jennifer cooked up for us? It's a day full of puns, but we are checking our Color Vowel pantry, taking stock, seeing what ingredients we have, and wondering what kinds of dishes we might be missing out on. Are we using our ingredients in all the ways possible? Those ingredients being, of course, your Color Vowel tools. So today's focus is a set of image cards that we have available. We'll combine that with a bit of digital image work as well as it comes up. Next week, Jennifer, what's the topic next week? Is it the
Color it out.
Color It Out the game? Okay. And then the following week before Thanksgiving is the launch pad. So we have three focus areas coming up, all related to materials. So welcome. So
Can I just, as a program note, so the fourth Friday, we won't be here because it's the Friday after Thanksgiving. And, but our fourth Friday, which is usually with Dr. Barr, will be the first Friday of December.
Oh, that works for me.
Okay.
I wasn't sure about the Wednesday before Thanksgiving because that was tricky for me. So Friday's much better. Thank you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So Robin will always be either a first or a fourth or a fifth Friday.
Something with an F, yes.
Right, exactly. Whatever
it's
number.
Your labiodental fricative Friday.
So our topic this week is image cards. A lot of us have those. If you don't, they are part of the teacher starter kit. They're part of every kit. And we also sell them individually just as a set of image cards, one image per color vowel. I'm going to be very interested in hearing how you're using them and as well as other materials. So first of all, speak up, as I present a couple of ideas and you have a variation on that, go ahead and mention it in the chat. There are many ways to use these things. But we also devised a survey for you so that we can find out more about what you're doing with different materials. Jennifer, you want to talk about that? Can't hear you. Nope, not yet.
I was getting a link. Sorry. Ask someone else.
Oh, sure. No, just that you're going to be giving us a link to a survey, right?
Oh, yes, that's the link I was getting. Sorry.
Yeah. So keep your eye out for that. That will come out in our November newsletter, which will be ready about when the elections are over. That's my estimate. Just who knows? Maybe it'll be December. Maybe it'll be January 20th. Who knows? But we'll get that newsletter to you in time. All right. So I'm feeling a little batty, but we will move along. Image cards. The basic idea behind them, of course, is just that they have the image on the front and they have the keyword phrase on the back. I'm going to focus mostly on the use of the front side. So start thinking about how you use the back side because I'll be very interested. There. Okay. So today what I did is I corralled and harnessed and focused my son, and I recruited my son. That's the word I wanted. Blue Moon recruited my son to help me out with some videos to kind of demonstrate the activities that I'm going to share today. So we'll get started with that. The first idea, number one, what color is? And for this one, I'm going back to when my kids were very little and I was having them do a version of this activity that now will be a little more sedate. But when they were little, I would place out two colors. And I had, Shirley, you remember the era when we had all of the colors in pieces of foam. Remember that? Like foamy pieces from the art store. So they were really fun to touch and for kids to pick up. And I would simply place two colors on the floor and say a word. And then my kids, who are twins, would jump onto the color that it was. And that was a form of a phonemic awareness, right? Being able to pick out from what they hear, not what they see, but what they hear, what the stressed vowel sound is. So there's a lot behind that. And before I show you video footage of what this looks like, why do we care about phonemic awareness? And I'd like to invite answers as well as Dr. Barr because I know she has a lot to say on it. But does anyone know else why we care about this skill? Any thoughts on that? Hi, Suzanne.
So because it's related to language learning and it's all connected in our brains.
Yeah, that's the nice big piece. Exactly. It is connected to language learning. We know that when someone has strong phonemic awareness, they're more likely to be a good reader. And that would be another, sort of a piece out there that floats around as data. Robin, can you elaborate on that as far as reading as well as speaking goes?
Yeah, a whole lot. Let me see if I can boil it down. Okay. Phonemic awareness is something that native speakers of a language don't have, because what goes on in Broca's area, the language part of the brain, is unconscious. But if you're trying to bypass Broca's area and learn a language that you don't have, or if you're trying to use language to read with, to do something else, like if you're trying to invent an alphabet, for example, then you want to be able to bypass Broca's area and use other parts of the brain. And phonemic awareness appears to be on the right side of the brain, right about here, because that's the part of the brain that increases the gray area increases as people learn phonemic awareness. So if you don't have phonemic awareness, especially the ability to segment phonemes, like in a word like cat, if you can't segment syllables into phonemes, then you can't assign a different letter to each phoneme. So cat is something that my dyslexic students can't do. And especially identifying the vowel in the middle, which is not a steady state vowel at all. If you look at the acoustics, there's no single thing that will identify the vowel in cat as at all. You can't chop it off anywhere and hear only ah. So my students have a very hard time identifying the vowel in the middle. So this exercise is great for teaching that phonemic awareness of the vowel that is surrounded by consonants.
Wonderful. And so with that in mind, it's easy. Well, there's a tendency to take that idea there and to make it very tedious for a learner, where segmenting becomes the practice of, can you do it or can't you? And I was really excited about this early on because it's very play-based, as are a lot of these activities I'm going to be showing you today. Wonderful. So I'm also doing something new technically. So if we were wondering where the tech is for today, I'm now using my new iPad to project onto the screen. And so bear with me, but I'm really excited I can do something like this now. So here we go. This is my now 12-year-old son helping me with an activity that we used to do when he was little. And ready? Okay. It's either going to be a green tea word or a blue moon word. Here we go. School. School. Good. Blue moon school. Great. Teacher. Green tea. Great. Peaches. Green tea peaches. Great. Student. Oh. Blue moon student. Well, that seems too easy. So let's go ahead and add another color. Let's put. Ah, this is very interesting. The audio is not matching up with the video, is it?
I can't see the video.
You can't see the video. What do you see right now? Just me?
I just see my gallery view.
The video.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I see the video.
I see the video.
So Karen, this happened to me, and as usual. So like I use my iPad and with the sound, but sound very delayed.
Okay. Okay.
I've had the same thing happen.
I'm going to do something different. Here's my hack. So this is a little bit of a test kitchen today, but what I'm going to do now is join Zoom from my,
yes,
that's the way to go.
It's better.
Okay, meetings, here we go. Bear with me. I may have to mute and mute, but we're going to get this. I'm going to get this.
Make sure
Well,
you
there's
mute
two of
one
you.
of them.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, hold on.
Ooh,
hold
there's
on.
all sorts of feedback. There we go. That's better.
This is fascinating.
Karen, when I do it, I don't share my screen on the second one, but you're fine. I can see your screen now. You need to unmute, Karen.
Yeah, Karen, I can hear you. And Karen, and please,
We can't hear you, Karen.
and second one
There we go.
should be muted.
Okay.
No. Second one is muted. And I mean, not just on Zoom, whole thing muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Then I'll leave this. I will come back, and here I am. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I will share directly from the web. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Ta-da! And now I will share screen, and we're set. Same old as my normal sharing. Okay.
I
I'm
have
now
no
against
idea what I
devices.
just did.
That's okay. I found another workaround. So that's where we are now. Everyone can see this screen, right? With my two colors, and it's going to be synced up now. So here we go. This is what color is, and they answer simply by pointing. Here we go. Or jumping.
Okay, so I'm going to say a word and you swap the color that it is. You ready?
Yeah.
In fact, I want you to repeat the word after me as you swat. Ready?
Okay.
It's either going to be a green tea word or a blue moon word. Here we go. School.
School.
Good. Blue moon school. Great. Teacher.
Green tea.
Great. Peaches.
Green tea peaches.
Great. Student.
Blue moon student.
Well, that seems too easy. So let's go ahead and add another color. Let's put black cat in there. Ready? Let's continue. Classroom.
Black cat classroom.
Noodles.
Blue moon noodles.
Attachment.
Black cat attachment.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Let's see.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I thought you said unbelievable. Okay. Unbelievable. Green tea unbelievable.
Category.
Black cat category.
Afternoon.
Blue moon afternoon.
Engineer.
Green tea engineer.
Computer.
Computer is blue moon computer.
Fascinating.
Black cat fascinating.
Musical.
Blue moon musical.
Well done.
Okay. Yay, he did it. All right. What's neat about this? Any thoughts on, again, this is a native speaker of English, but don't discount what's happening here because this is very revealing of what he's got in his brain. And it's also, I've been attending a conference this week on dual language education and English as a second language. And there's a new refocus on making sure we don't underestimate what we want for our English language learners. And we want this for them. So what's the magic going on here? And why did he hesitate on unbelievable? Why do we think he would have hesitated on unbelievable?
I think he hesitated because I think he thought you were giving him praise. That's unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
How old was he, Karen?
In this, he's about an hour ago. He's 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
They were little. I would yell out things like noodles, and they would jump onto the blue moon or the blue piece of foamy that was there. So this is an older version of it, but it was fun for him. Yeah. Any other? Yeah, Robin.
Something that I noticed is that he was having an easier time with this than a lot of English-speaking adults will, because English-speaking adults keep looking in their mind's eye at the spelling. And he was not being constrained by the spelling. He was aiming for the sounds. And I guess because you've been doing this to him, with him all his life, he's able to do this. But a lot of people are very text bound and have a hard time with this. And I bet if you tried this with a lot of English speaking adults, you would find that the learning curve is a lot steeper. Or
I
less
found
steep
now
or something harder to get up. Yeah.
Taking Color Vowel Basics, because that's a lot of phonemic awareness training that we've just finished week 2 of the current cohort. And I was able to do a bit of this. And I think it's sort of 2 weeks in thinking this way that an adult English language teacher is starting to activate that kind of awareness when they enter, not having ever done that in their lives. So, there is a kind of activation time, but pretty interesting stuff. How could we do this? What might we be doing with learners? And why do you think it's useful to start with green and blue as opposed to green versus silver?
They're at the end of the spectrums.
Right. So they're very different from each other.
Yeah.
In many ways, except maybe the height of the jaw, which isn't salient. So we've got, rounded lips over here. We've got big smile here, and the tongue is in different positions. And then you can start to edge closer and closer. Good. So then I ratcheted it up a little bit, and we engaged in this activity. We also moved to a more attractive background instead of the mat on my floor. It looked kind of sad. So we're now on a table. But let's take a look at this. And this one is this a word? So I'm just sort of labeling this with a way to remember it. The first one, what color is, and you can add to that and add a third card and so forth. But this is this a word?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question about a word. What color is school?
It's blue moon.
Okay, so it's a blue moon word, right? What if I make it this color? What does that word sound like now?
Scowl.
Is that a word of English, scowl?
No.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, how about if I make it green?
Skeel.
Skeel. Is that a word of English?
Well, if you take away the S and the C and the H, it's eel, but no, it's not a word.
Okay,
Other than that.
great. How about this one? What does that make the word?
Guile.
Is that a word of English?
No, maybe a name, but not a word.
Okay, how about this color?
Scowl.
Scowl. Is that a word of English?
No.
No?
Not that I know.
Okay, so here, if this were a student of mine, I would not touch it any further. I would say, oh, it's a word, not a word of English that you know. But in this case, I happen to know he knows this word, so I lean into him as my son. So that's this bit.
Really? You don't know the word scowl?
Okay, yeah, maybe it is a word.
What if I scowl at you?
Probably it's being
Like a
angry.
scowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a word. Good. It's an emotion word. How about I give you this color vowel?
Hold on.
Anyone?
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
I'm amazed at how similar that starts to sound like the word squirrel almost.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's
Because you've
squirrel.
got the rounded lips for the k, it turns it into a qu.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Squirrel. Squirrel. Is that a word?
No.
No, that's not a word. Okay. How about this one?
Scale.
Is that a word?
Yes.
Like what?
Like a scale. Like a scale is like something. It's something probably that you can like check your weight, or a scale is like a part of an animal, like scale.
Okay, like on a fish or something. Great.
Yeah.
Any other scales? Jennifer?
I just noticed that when you went from orange to gray, I kept the R in my mind, and I was going scale. I was trying to keep that R in there.
I think
Same
it's
here.
trolling. Yeah, that happened to you too, Suzanne?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it's that the or is not a single phoneme for us.
Right. And so then we leave the R and try to, yeah, that's what's going
Substitute
on.
the vowel. Yeah.
Good. Any other scale meanings that might come to mind?
The first meaning I thought of was, of course, the musical scale.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And so I love this part when there is a word and it has many meanings and you're in a classroom, students will pitch in all these different meanings and maybe not one that you know of, but that they don't know of yet. And I love that activation of the Rolodex, going through the mental Rolodex of how does this word sound, and different people will hear homonyms that are spelled differently. So that's pretty neat.
I thought of fish.
The scale of a fish. Exactly. Good.
Okay, we're starting with a new word, and the word is blurt. What color is blurt?
Blurt is purple shirt.
So
Okay,
Jennifer,
that's a
you'll like
purple
this
shirt
next
word.
one.
Is that a word that you know? Blurt?
No,
No?
it's not.
Like if I blurt something out, if I blurt out
Oh,
the
yeah.
answer? Oh,
Because-
yeah. Okay. How about if I change a few colors? What word is it now?
Blairt.
Blurt becomes
So there you go. Same issue. The R comes in and now everything is controlled. But here's how I solve it.
Blairt.
blade.
Blade.
Good, blade. We replaced with a,
Oh,
right?
blade.
Blade. Good. Is that a word of English?
Yeah.
Really? Like what does it mean?
I can't remember the definition, but I know for sure I've heard it.
Can you use it in a sentence?
It's like a blatant knockoff.
Oh, nice. Blatant. I love that. That's well put.
Isn't that fun? So what's great is that suddenly, as long as I don't show disbelief, like you're kidding me, or I try not to show any way positive or negative. Just, is this a word? And he was able to do this thing that was so beautiful, right? Good.
Yeah, blatant is a word. Good. How about now? Blatant becomes what?
Blout.
Is that a word of English?
No.
No, not that you know of, either me. Okay, how about this one?
Blight.
Blight. Is that a word you know?
No.
No? There is a word like this.
Okay, so that was that one. So any thoughts on this? Does this excite anyone for any particular reason?
For me, it's a fabulous phonemic awareness activity, and it's a fabulous thing to do with kids who learn differently. They might need like a cue with the letters on each side. But I want to show it to my teachers at my school for dyslexic kids, because maybe I know they're doing similar things, but I don't know if they know about color vowels.
So I started doing this actually in the car when I was driving my kids to school so long, when they were little and we'd be going to their primary school. And so you can do it without any images and without any letters at all, right? So if I say, for example, take the word cat, and now I want you to make it a rose word, right? And it's what?
Coat.
And now I want you to change the k to b. And what is it now?
Right. And kids who learn in a regular way can do that.
Yeah.
Kids with dyslexia,
it's so hard for the.
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
But
Suzanne, you're
if
absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as
But if I'm thinking of English language learners, I don't have enough experience to know like how much their brains would explode trying to do this.
So I teach English language learners who are not readers, and some of them do have dyslexia, but there's no way to test for that except by doing this. So I actually devised a test that was like this, that was non-linguistic, so I could try to see, and it involves substituting one sound for another. What happens if I take, well, I used blocks. Okay, what happens if I take this block away and put this block in, and some of them can do it and some of them can't, and it's fascinating to see. But this is definitely a task that is beyond somebody who does not have phonemic awareness.
Right. And what I'll add to that is I think it's to say, rather than worry too much about whether you can do this with your student, go ahead and try it. And when they can't, that gives you really valuable information. You know, just knowing we're not here to diagnose dyslexia, but if you have a learner,
be here to diagnose dyslexia.
Sorry, say it again.
We might be here to diagnose dyslexia, actually. So that's what I use this for.
Yeah.
But it's also great for the vocabulary. So, but I would have picked words that had a whole lot more possibilities there.
Yeah, I chose some pretty strange words that mostly aren't possible because I wanted to engage him in the task for reals. But let me clarify, and I'll just recast what I said. It's not that we're not here to diagnose dyslexia. We certainly want to know. But it's not that we're doing that formally, right? But it's really great to have a red flag that, okay, I have a learner who perceives spoken language differently, and now this is looking like it happens in the written word too. So I think all of us should be noting what this offers us diagnostically. Great. Any other comments on that? That was the second activity, which is this a word? Hi, Dilnoshan, welcome. Glad to have you. You just came in, so we just want.
Hi, Karen.
Yeah,
sorry, I just joined. It's very interesting to hear your thinking. Yeah, I finally was able to find the link because it didn't work for me before, but yeah.
Okay.
I think I agree with you, Karen. I think that's true because sometimes it's so tricky working with the ESL or EFL kids because not always, and honestly, they don't even know that dyslexia exists, And I think just as you said, making sure to practice and then see how can you help them to do it, that works best in those situations than just saying, being a doctor here, because I think it's hard for the person and eventually I think students are scared because of that. They have this, shutting down and saying like, I'm not going to do that anymore, because I cannot do it.
Yeah. Robin.
Yeah, I have more comments that I can spit out, but I'll give you two. One is that in order to help your students do this, one thing you can do is remove one of the consonants. So either use initial vowels, words with initial vowels like eat and oat or something like that, or final vowels, which work only with the moving vowels in English pretty much, but so B and boo, something like that. And that helps because you don't have so much to chop off. You can use rhyme, or you can use the beginning of the word assonance, and that's a way of helping. And now I've forgotten what my other point. Oh no, your apples and bananas song. That's what this is.
That's right. That's right. So we'll actually finish up with a round of apples and bananas.
Good.
I will share briefly, just because it was mentioned, in the Color Vowel Approach book, which so many of you have, on page 19 there, we do there's just a small bit on it, but I've given some very useful frames that won't lead you astray, which is a note of warning. If you throw out the wrong word, you can end up in a pickle where suddenly you add you change into a color and now you're dealing with a taboo word. So just create your frames thoughtfully and play through them before you present. I'm good at doing things on the fly, and so I've actually caught myself in these little predicaments.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, there's certain consonants you just want to stay away from.
Yes, that is a word. We're not going to use that though.
Exactly. So these are some nice sentence frames, and this is a bit of the way I used to do it. I have two consonant letters that kind of help give some concrete feel to what we're doing, and then we just switch out. So we've got beat, boat, and bat, right? Something like that. Okay, good. Well, now I changed it up a bit further for the next iteration, and this one is a version of "Is this a word?" But I thought it was interesting when I mixed it up like this. So let's watch that.
All right, so this time I'm going to give you a word and you're going to pick up the card of the color that it is. And the word is bead. Bead.
I think it's green tea.
Okay, green tea, bead. Good. So now I'd like you to select colors that if you replace the green with those colors, they're also words. So you can put down green on next to you on the floor.
Okay.
Take it out. Good. So now what other words can you make when you change the color of bead? For example, you might look on the table and say, oh, you could pick red pepper
And get bed.
Bed. That's a word, right? Like what? Just a sentence?
Like, I got out of bed.
Good. So pick up the red card and put it down. Good. What other?
That piece is so important. Having them, when I say like what, I mean, it's, we all use like too much these days, but with kids, I say like what? And they say like this. And what they bring up is so important, because of, do you say polysemy or polysemy? What do you say, Robin, when word has many meanings?
Polysemy.
Polysemy, none of those. Okay, everyone, silver, pin, polysemy, a word I only look at and write. So when words have multiple meanings, you don't want to assume that you know which one they say, yeah, I know this word. You want them to show you their sentence. And a lot of times it just keeps it so engaging for me, but then it's their sentence and their understanding of the word. So I just wanted to pitch that in.
Other colors can make words with this word frame. Bead, bed,
Bid.
okay, pick out that color. Good. Like what?
Bid.
Like what?
Like, I'm bidding against this. I'm bidding for a book or something.
Okay, like on eBay. Okay, good. What else is a word?
Bad.
Bad. Where's that color?
Black cat.
Bad. Good. Any other words here?
No, that's booed. That's bowed. Boyd.
Boyd. Is that a word?
It's a name, but not a word.
Well, I think a name is a word.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Okay, there's Boyd. Our friend Boyd has that name. Great. What else? Anything else here? A word?
Bud.
Bud. Like what?
Like a bud. Like it's a word. It's not really. It's a slang word. It's not.
What does it mean?
It means like hanging out with my buds. It means like it's another word, a boy word for friends.
Okay, a boy word.
It's a boy word for friends. It's just so illuminating for me. Definitely the funnest time I've had with my son all week was just getting into his head. There we go.
Your friend. Okay, good. What else is a word here?
Bored.
Bored. Like what?
Like I'm bored. Which is my sister all the time.
All right, good. Anything else here going to make a word?
Bade, no. Booed, no. Bow, no. Bud, no. Bod. Bide.
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 Is that a word?
Yeah, bide is a word. It's like when you are holding someone really tight.
And what?
And holding them and squeezing them, and it's like what a snake does. Like the snake bited around the mouse.
Can anyone help me? I don't know.
I think
then-
he's thinking of bind, maybe.
Maybe.
IND.
So I'm just there with him, being witness.
Huh.
Or maybe I'm thinking of,
Bide. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up.
it's
But
also a
go
Pokemon move.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and pick out white tie then, and we'll make it a word and we'll look it up. Okay, we'll see what more we can learn about that. Good. Anything else a word? What about brown cow?
Okay. Bowed.
Bowed. Is that a word?
Yes, it is. It's like I bowed to the audience.
Okay, good. I bowed to the audience. Okay. What about purple shirt?
Bird.
Is that a word?
Yes. But a lot of these pronunciations, these words are not spelled like that. They're
Spelled like what?
like some of the words like it's not spelled like because like when you think of brown cow, it's like ow, like AOW,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's not actually spelled BURD because that's what we think of when we think of purple shirt.
Is it?
Some people,
Okay, but it's a word, right?
yeah.
How do you spell it?
You spell it BIRD, and that's our cat right there.
Okay, so Robin, why was this so exciting, this moment?
Oh, just noticing that he notices the difference between spelling and sound. So he had trouble with bowed because it's OWED, and also the word bow is a word. Is bowed the past tense? Is that a different word, or is it the same word with a because that starts to get into morphology and stuff. But then noticing that the spelling is not the sound is such an awesome discovery. I love it.
Yeah.
And
And then,
Suzanne is nodding. I want to know why.
Mhm.
Well, whoops, hold on. Technical failure.
We can hear you though.
Okay.
She's so excited.
I don't know where it went.
Everything.
Yeah, they just fly out of your ears, right?
Yeah, she fell on the floor. She was so excited.
No, the discovery. It's his own discovery of the relationship between the sound and different spellings. And I love how you said, Karen, you're doing such a lovely job with him too, because you're just being so open and interested and curious about his thoughts. So I want to let you know that I'm noticing that and just really appreciating it. And I also am dying to ask, would your daughter ever do this? Do you have a daughter or do you have two sons?
I have a daughter.
Would your daughter ever do this with you?
I'm actually going to recruit her because I want to do more of this with a still camera. Like I'll get a tripod.
Yes, that would be good.
I think he's already done it. So anything he does more is going to be reacting. It's going to be acting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to corner her and try to get her, to do it.
I'm just thinking the difference between a 12-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl is
Great. Well,
but more
right.
power to you, girl. Now I'm going to go look for the other ear pod.
There we go. Well, part of what I'll say here, and I appreciate the compliment on my mothering and my parenting, but I think part of it is that this allows us to be curious. I think Color Vowel really makes teachers, provides teacher with this opportunity to be just as much on the exploration field as the learner. And that's what I love about it. It places me in that state of mind rather than I'm giving you everything I know. Robin, you feel the same?
One of the great things about this is that here you're asking questions that you want to know the answer to rather than questions that are quizzing the student for an answer that is correct or not correct.
Right.
And so it's actually a meaningful discourse. It's not a show off question, show me what you know question. It's I want to know the answer question.
Right. So the earliest version of this, when we looked at, this work on the floor mat, when I said, noodle or whatever the word is, that would be a foundation piece. That's definitely more, right and wrong. This is a, you know, a dichotomy. It's going to be one or the other. Once we have that down, now I know that they understand what these symbolize. And once we have this kind of work down, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as I see that they can look at that blue moon and they're matching it to that stressed syllable, once that's in place, then we can play all of these other sort of more interesting games.
And even then, the way you correct them was not, no, you're wrong, but, you know, blue moon noodle, you know, or green tea noodle. You know, so you let them discover whether they were right or wrong.
And we can also, if I say noodle and they say green, I can then draw their attention. Well, if it were green, what color, what would that sound like? And what would it sound like? Green tea needle. Oh, it's not noodle. So it's, you're right. It's more interesting than, no, that's not correct. Or you made a mistake. Good. Nice. All right. So then categories, that would be I think this is 5. If not, I'm going to let off after this anyway and call it 5. Categories we've heard of several times. I think we referred to it in some of our other sessions. But if I just hold up a card, I could put us in teams, or just the student and I could be in 2 different teams. We could brainstorm red words. And I could change the level of the playing field, you know, by giving myself the requirement of they all have to be 2-syllable words, and the learner can think of any kind of red word. But making a list of words and seeing how many you can come up with in 1 minute, for example.
One thing that's interesting about that game is that when you call it categories, it's also, if you say, I want red words having to do with food, that's actually easier to find than if you just say any red word.
That's true. Thank you for pointing that out. I've found that to be true too. It's more limited in its range, but because you can bounce up against a particular topic, it's easier to find and test words. That's right. Shall we try it? Because I think we've all been so good. Let's take out.
You want us to say it or write it?
Let's write it. Let's write it. And let's go ahead and just do this collectively, but there are lots of ways to gamify it with teams. Okay. So we'll pick one here, and this will be, I don't know, randomly picking olive words, and the topic will be, let's do olive animals, everybody. We have 1 minute in the chat, and let's go. Can't think of any. Okay. Otter, shark, fox, dog, robin, of course. Okay. Nice, hippopotamus. Bobcat, nice, Shirley. Notice what we're doing. If anyone just wants to watch our mouths while we're doing this, we're all doing funny things. Tomcat, rhinoceros, possum. Oh, nice. Possum and a possum. Oh, that's a minute. Hey, we did a really nice job. We could flood this. Suzanne could not think of anything. So now we can flood, and
flood. Oh boy.
Let's flood, and you can remain muted, and we'll just come right down. If I don't think you can see me. Oh, here. No, I can't broadcast this. Go up in the chat to where we start with, let's start with fox. Suzanne wrote dog, and then I wrote fox. So let's start at fox because I know dog's coming back. Ready? And just go down the list. Here we go. Fox, pot, shark, otter, fox, robin, dolphin, lobster, hippopotamus, dog for some, bobcat, tomcat, rhinoceros, possum for pot, opossum, dolphin. I have two questions. For pot or for pot, is that an animal, Dilnosha?
I was thinking more about the preposition and pot together, putting together for pot.
For pot, okay. Good. And I always wonder about this. I don't know if anyone else does, but with possum and the possum with an O and another P in front of it, is one possum and the other one's called a possum? Or they
Yeah,
both
this
possum?
is from an American Indian word, and I think it's a Virginia word. I'm not sure, but possum is just short for opossum, and it could be folk etymology for possum, a possum.
Okay. Yeah, I think I say an opossum. No, now I say opossum. All right, number 5. I did think of it thanks to Jennifer, my external brain, Jennifer. We can use images to prompt chants without any words. I love that until this moment, except for this this particular brainstorm for color gories, we had not dealt with any written words by this point. It's all oral. Isn't that beautiful? You know, we could spend quite a long time just working with the mind and perception and the speech.
And if we had not written this down, it could have also been oral if we were all unmuted.
That's right. That's right. And had maybe one person be a scribe if we wanted to keep it as a record. Wonderful. And then we have chants. So we have, in fact, yeah, Robin, I think you're cooking something up there. This is going to be fun. We also know about chants that we can do something like this. Ooh, ooh. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? 4th time, what are you going to do? Robin can then take hers out as a student and she could repeat it back to me. So now if students have their own set of cards, which some schools are doing that, by the way, is providing learners with a set of cards so they can participate in this way from Zoom. Robin?
What are you going to do today? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do today? What are you going to do? Good. So we won't spend a lot of time on that except to say that we have lots of videos on chants from the past, and the chants course is coming up. So if you are interested in level 2 chants, check it out in our training calendar. That's a 3-session course and it's a lot of fun. Basically on how to run a chant, how to change a chant, and how to innovate chants. Yeah.
I have a game that I loved to play with my students in real life, and I don't know how to adapt it to Zoom, and I'm wondering if anybody would be able to help me brainstorm how to do that. Can I bring it up here?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so what we used to do would be play It's a What, which is surely this is like your this is a toothbrush, a what, a toothbrush, a what, a toothbrush, but it's slower. It's so I hold it up and somebody asks, what's that? I say, it's a toothbrush. It's a what? It's a toothbrush. It's a what? It's a toothbrush. Oh, it's a toothbrush. And then I give it to them and then they do it to the next person. I think you taught me this, Shirley. And then once and so I have, I don't use the cards yet at all, but we go around the class. I have a whole lot of little things, some courtesy of Liz Bigler, who has a little menagerie of small objects. And so by the end of the game, we have a pile of objects, and then I deal out the cards and I put them on the table in usually Color Vowel Chart order in some way, although not explicitly, but I put the green tea over here and the blue moon over there, and I have it arranged like that. And then what they have to do is they have to take the little animal or whatever they've got and put it on the card itself, right? So this is kind of like color gories, but they're sorting it and they have to say, black cat, camel, and then everybody else can decide, is that right, or should it be olive sock camel or whatever. And then when we're done with that phase, then we look at each color and then we flood all the animals that are on that color. So black cat, black cat, camel, black cat, rabbit, you know. So, I mean, it's a whole sequence of games that great introduction, but I don't know how to do that online.
Any thoughts?
Well, I don't have a thought right offhand, but just to put a plug in for Liz's Test Kitchen on Mondays, it's a great place to come and try these things and brainstorm. It's how we come in and okay, how do I do this in Zoom? And everybody kind of helps each other. And if you're wondering what it looks like as a student, everybody else will tell you what they're experiencing. And in fact, we were trying to do something like this, Dr. Barr. We know that you can like pin people to in a certain order, and so we were seeing if I want to always hand something to Karen, if I can fix it so that Karen's always in the same place for everybody, which we found out you cannot do. You cannot have like hand things to people like they do in those TikTok videos.
I have played It's a What with my graduate students. So I gave them a list of items to bring: toothbrush, toilet paper, spoon, etc. And then I had them hand it to each other, and the spoon would come out as a different color spoon from the next person. But they had a blast pretending to hand it to each other. So that part, It's a What part, I've got figured out. Okay, it's using the card part. Okay, now sort these items physically onto the cards that I don't have yet, because I really like the physical manipulation of objects. Yes, Suzanne.
Do you know what the objects are going to be ahead of time?
Yes.
Just a thought. I don't know if this would work. Put images into a slide that they can then manipulate and move, or you can do that on the whiteboard in Zoom potentially. I don't tend to use the whiteboard in Zoom, but there's lots of other whiteboards that you could use. And then have the images of the color vowels and ask them to drag and drop them.
Yeah. In fact, I would go into my Color Vowel community, Robin, and look at Chelsea's post. She uses, can't remember the name of the tool, but it's a Google tool. And so that would be a good way to go. And Liz does too. They've got some examples there. So, yeah. Wonderful. Well, hey, I love how all of this intersects with technology. It's true. Do we have some other examples of what you're doing with cards? I know, Shirley, you were tutoring for a while there and using cards in all kinds of ways. And I'm not putting you on the spot, but anyone else who has thoughts or examples they'd like to share?
I have a game.
Yeah.
If she doesn't come back in a second, it's DJ 6. Sure. But can I share something that I've done?
Oh, sure.
Now that you mention it, Suzanne, I might be able to adapt this to the use of the cards rather than the chart. Can I share it? Let's see if I can.
Sure.
Okay. This one. Okay. Can you all see this?
Soon. I think it's coming up. There we go. Oh, this is
so.
Lovely.
Look, I've got a whole bunch of I've got a whole bunch of you may have to move the people. You get the just so you can see all the little toys on the right. But I have wooden hook book.
That's the menagerie. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So I could adapt my game to this, except I would use my toothbrush, my toilet paper. The reason I'm picking toilet paper is that's the only turquoise toy word that is easy to find around the house. But I could do that, and instead of having this instead of having the chart itself, I could just have the cards that, I would hold up the card and they could tell me, which items they have in front of them would go on that card, something like that. Yes, Suzanne.
And if you share the link to the Google Doc and make it editable by all, then everybody can move it. With English, with my English language learners, that's asking too much. But with more tech savvy people or everybody who has more than a phone. I mean, a lot of my students are just doing class on the phone.
Yeah, this is too small for a phone. You can't really see what the images are. But actually, this is already editable by all. I can share it on the I can share it on in the chat right now with you, and then you can copy it and do something with it. Let me do that. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah. Fabulous. We just had a couple people join the room. I think Doug had gotten maybe kicked out and he's back. Welcome, Liz. Good to see you here. Don't know how long you were stuck in the waiting room. A while.
Liz, we were just talking about you.
Unmute.
What were you saying about me?
Many good things.
All the good things. All the good things. So we're actually wrapping things up, but we had some fun with images. Does anyone want to share what a favorite was that they, like a walk away favorite idea that they want to try out next?
I have some students who are having a lot of, still having trouble distinguishing colors. So I'm going to use like the first three as different activities to try and help them develop the awareness of certain sounds. Like it's the Hispanic, problem with black olive and mustard. So.
So when you say they're having trouble distinguishing colors, you're not talking about color blindness. You're talking about
no. I'm talking about you give them a word and they just don't know. They just don't.
Listening or speaking?
Well, it's when they look at the written word and trying to determine, and they're so text bound. If it's an O, certain ones always think it's olive, and some, they're stuck on love is mustard. So all O words must be mustard. So each of them have their own little biases. And so it's, my midterm was very revealing.
Yeah. Well, I was going to add, actually the last thing on my list is the silent feedback. That when someone says a word that should be, say, olive, but they say it with mustard, that if it's an intimate enough context that you can catch it, you just hold it up. But that requires not just knowing that these are two different vowel sounds, but that does require doing a little bit of the yoga work, right?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
That when you do something like that they know it refers to lowering the jaw. So that's where the image cards start to become the chart again, I think. But once
I like that, holding the, I like the idea of holding, just these are the first two that came, like, hold these and like, okay, you're doing this, let's lift it up, kind of, it's all.
Yeah, you could hold up the boat and kind of, oh, or oh, sorry, oh.
Why not?
But there comes a point where when you're managing all the cards and suddenly you're like, put them down and use the chart, because that's what it's for. So they're really wonderful for breaking out, right? And focusing in on or communicating a sound.
What I love about this is that it's not text bound. It's I mean, yes, you can turn them over and they can see the words, but notice that we haven't done that this whole time.
Yeah, that was my sort of little challenge for folks. Is anybody using the backside a great deal, or is it mostly, I use it when I'm introducing and someone forgets it and they say, oh, what is that again? I say silver pin. They go, oh yeah. Are there any other uses for the backside, for the print side?
So I know what I'm showing them.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it from this side if that's the classroom and I can see what I'm showing them. Yeah, that's a good point. Especially if anybody who's like mildly colorblind, you know, the gray and the green start to look the same on the border. So having those words, I like that, Doug. Okay. The other one I could pull out would be to take out all of the cards that have O's on them and have students notice, you know, how many O's there are. Just, I mean, that kind of a pullout. And Shirley kind of taught me that one years ago. Just that if you look at all the O's on the chart, they happen to come over here, not by chance. You know, there's a certain design about that, inherent in the language. Or maybe over here you could pull out all of, I don't know, look for the E's and see where they fall. But I'm just thinking out loud here. Any other thoughts?
Can we do apples and bananas now?
Sure. How about we do it in turns? I'll start. I mean, I'm happy to start the game. So I think we'll need to mute, and then I'll ask for someone to pick the baton and they can lead. Here we are with E. And if you're muted, you can sing with me. I like to eat apples and bananas. And I go quickly. I like to oit, oiples and banoinois. Robin, I tag you.
I like to oot, ooples and banoonus. Tagging Suzanne.
I like to eat apples and bananas.
That's neat because
I'll
she's
go.
able to sing and we hold up the cards.
Oh.
Okay.
Liz, your turn.
I like to oat, opals and bananas. Not Jennifer.
I like to out, apples and bananas. Doug.
Oh. I like to eat apples and bananas.
Good.
Okay.
Apples and
like
bananas.
Apples and bananas. I like to. Oh, we have Jennifer. Apples and bananas. So what I've
we need to
noticed
tag
with,
Joan and Dilnoza. They haven't had a chance.
there we go. Joan, your turn. We can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we don't hear you. But you can hold it up and we can sing to you if there's a problem.
I like to apples and bananas.
Great. Dilnosa?
I don't have a card.
Okay, you can sing any color vowel you want and we'll hold them up.
Okay.
How about red?
Red.
I like, oh my gosh, Appler? Oh, how do you say that? I like
to.
I like to eat.
I like to add apples and bananas.
Yeah, so we're taking and this is the fun of it, is we're applying it to every word in the stress. So apples and bananas.
Okay.
Last
That's
one,
awesome.
everybody. I like to
Apples and bananas.
This is what we like to do on a Friday night. So, you know, I couldn't think of a group of people I would love to spend more time with than you, and I love doing this. I just wanted to add that when I do this with, I'll end with the sacred giggle, which is if you got yourself giggling.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The sacred giggle is very important. And when I do this with children, especially sort of upper elementary and middle school students, maybe not too cool middle school students, but there's a giggle that comes along with certain sounds more than others. And the sacred giggle to me tells me that we're hitting home. The sacred giggle is usually on turquoise. When they get to this one, you knew I almost pulled it away when I got to it because it was too early. When you lay the foundation with the easier vowels and then you get to turquoise and they have to say oipos and benoy noise, they burst out in laughter because that's language play and their brain likes this. And the sacred
What's odd is that the most of my ESL students don't find it funny because they don't know what the patterns are of English lexicon, you know, so they don't know that there's so few oi words that putting a whole bunch of oi words in the same sentence just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know why it doesn't sound right.
It's true. The sacred giggle has come across with the native speakers I work with. I thank you for reminding me. So when I work with the little ones, the 3s, the 4s, the 5-year-olds, that's when it would come up a lot. But the sacred giggle comes up also with ESL students when they're making sounds that aren't familiar to them, sounds that they've never made in their native language and that might feel funny otherwise. So I watch for the sacred giggle because it's also a sign of, whoa, I'm doing this thing that I kind of feel uncomfortable doing.
Yeah.
That
It's like purple. I still have struggle like purple. It's like so funny for me.
Squirrel is the one that makes everybody laugh in my class. Absolutely, Donosa.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, this is very fun. Any final comments as we shut things down for the night and for the week?
What's the definition of the sacred giggle? I'm sorry if I missed it.
The sacred giggle is defined as not, don't step over it, like notice it, because I find that when the sacred giggle is happening, it means that we're touching on something, either socioaffective, like discomfort, like, ooh, this doesn't feel very comfortable, or that they're literally having fun with language, like phonemic fun, and it tells me I'm in a zone. So I can't tell you what it means necessarily, except that it's not like any other laughter. It's special.
But it means surprise in a way that says, oh, I'm noticing something that doesn't fit. And that noticing, that is phonemic awareness right there.
Yeah.
That's suddenly I'm aware. Oh God, my hair's standing on end because it's so exciting.
Yes.
This means that I am now suddenly aware of what my mouth is doing and how weird it feels to say oi, 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 you know, that's just awesome.
And when you, the teacher, stop and say, oh, what do I say? I usually say something like, oh, you're laughing. And they say, oh, no. I say, yes, you are. And there's a good reason for it. You know, and then we just spend a little moment of zooming up and being sort of meta-linguistically aware, and then we continue. So I really watch for that moment. It tells me that I'm in the sweet spot. But I'd love to, maybe we have to explore that further, Robin. I like that. And thank you for asking, Liz. Have a great week. Stay safe. Continue to be safe. I think it's really hard to continue, but we're going to do it, right? And we'll be back.
And tune in on Monday, 10 a.m. Go to my Color Vowel community. Check out the link for Liz's IT kitchen. It's worth it. If you're
Are those recorded?
Generally, no. I mean, they can be, but
it's 10 Eastern time.
yes, I can record them. I mean, can I? I don't know. I can record them, but I don't know.
Zoom can do that.
Should I post them? I mean,
yeah, you can do that.
They're very much about doing, aren't they, Liz?
Yeah, and they're sort of like not intimate, but I don't know if everybody wants to have it. Yeah. Is there a reason that you can't be there? Do you work?
Well, I have class 2 hours later. Dumb thing. And I'm usually still doing some prep. But classes end in another week. So if you're doing it in December, I should be able to attend.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as there's interest, we do it pretty much.
It's real informal. Just come and hang out and try things that, just confuzzle you.
And so where is the link to those?
Oh, I'll put a link in right now.
It's in my Color Vowel community every week right on Monday morning. We post it in there. So.
Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook in a month because I couldn't handle it, but I'll come back.
But the Color Vowel community is always rainbows and hearts. Like we don't do any kind of
And
politics.
unicorns.
It's all love, man.
And
It's
blue
all
moon
about love.
unicorns.
That's right.
Blue moon unicorns, I like
So
that.
come on in and get away into Color Vowel land. Thank you, everyone. Next week, we'll be back with our second of 3 pantry sessions like this one, where we're checking our stock and trying out new things with our materials that we have. Next week is Color It Out, and we hope to have Laura McIndoe in the room with us.
Oh, cool.
Created it, so I'll be chatting
Inventor.
with her. So start.
Suzanne, where are you located?
Sorry?
In Boulder, Colorado.
Colorado, okay.
Yeah. So it's 8. I can do 8. It's fine. It's just if I'm teaching at 10, it's too.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Is Laura gonna show how to use it online? Somebody had a great idea of how to use the game online. Color It Out.
Lynn Swanda did, and I'll see if she'll do us the pleasure of coming in and showing us.
Okay.
And if not, I have my.
Could we bring our decks?
Bring your decks. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bring out your decks.
Okay. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.